I'd like to talk about fear first, because I know that since the pandemic started, we've had lots of different scare stories, and some have been exaggerated and some haven't been taken seriously, and so it's been a result that's not so good. And so there are different ways of looking at a situation. One is from panic mode. And if I'm looking at something from panic mode, I'm not going to be able to resolve anything. I'm not going to find the way forward. Another is to listen to all the different rumors and voices that are around. And if I'm listening to all of those conspiracy theories and all sorts of things going on, I'm not going to be a very happy person inside in the world around me. And what I understand now is that, yes, caution is important. There is something which is the bug, COVID-19. It's a reality, it's not imagination. But also, if I'm careful, if I'm cautious, then it can be managed. And I know that some of you have had some bereavements. And so it's not just a fear that was just there, but it's actually a reality that things that are dangerous can happen. But yet, what is it that I'm afraid of? And is it healthy for me to be afraid? But one of the things that you should know is that fear actually lowers my resistance in terms of my immunity. My immunity definitely goes down. And so if I want to keep myself strong and healthy, then I mustn't be afraid. I think everybody who's online now is very familiar with the ideas of spirituality. And yes, we need to understand more and more and more deeply, but more than that, we need to practice those things in a very powerful way. But I think this much is clear to everyone, that there's difference between soul and body. And that's a big, big step to have taken, because in the world out there, there isn't that awareness of soul and body being different. Identity is totally caught up with the external form. And now I understand. And so what I understand is that the soul is immortal. I and everything that is within I, my personality, my character, my qualities, everything that I am, I exist without end, no beginning, no end. It's a very interesting concept, eternity, immortality. You know, when people say they want to leave behind a mark on the world, they think that it's just this one life, and whatever they do in this one life, that's it. And so maybe it's a book, maybe it's a statue, whatever, whatever. But we know that the soul doesn't die. The soul continues on its further journey. And we don't need to discuss at this moment where and how and what, but just to know that the body came from dust and will return to dust, but the soul is spirit, not dust. It isn't made up of gross matter, earth, air, water, fire, space, no. Its ingredients are love and truth and joy and purity and peace. So this is who I am, a being that carries all of these qualities within the self. This is who I am. And so when I experience myself in that awareness of the being of peace, the being of love, the being of truth, the being that shines, the being of light, then in this awareness of the light that I am, then I know that even if something happens to the body, and at some point of time it will, but I, the soul, will never die. But it also means that for everybody else around me, the ones who I love the most, very, very dearly, that soul is never going to die. Which means that even if in a state of grief, I've lost somebody who's been very close, very dear to me, I know that my thoughts can reach them because my thoughts aren't physical. And so what I can do is to be in God's remembrance and send out my thoughts of pure love to them. And especially if my thoughts are filled with God's remembrance and God's love, then that love is going to comfort them. If I'm just grieving and I'm just upset and maybe blaming myself, blaming the world, blaming COVID, that's a negative state in which those feelings are not very healthy ones for me or for the soul that's gone. To let me send thoughts of light and love in God's remembrance. I won't be afraid of death anymore. I won't be afraid of my death, and I won't be afraid of the death of the ones I love. And yes, there might be tears of love, but not the grief that comes of not knowing what's happening. We know that the soul has moved on. So once I start practicing this awareness of the inner being, the soul, I'm really, really able to conquer fear. And of course, so many of our fears are in our imagination. They are unfounded. There are so many illnesses in the world. And if I think I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this, maybe I'll get this, well, I will. I'll probably be invoking it, inviting it. But if I say, well, I'm going to do what I can, keeping the body healthy and strong, first by keeping my mind healthy and strong, because that's going to impact the body. A healthy mind is more likely to be able to give me a healthy body. And if I keep my mind healthy, then yes, there's good hope, good chance that even if the body does go through something, the recovery is going to be much faster. Now, that is medical science research. From this world of light, I gently leave my home and come to another dimension, the subtle region. The realm of angels. And here, the soul takes on a costume of light. And in this costume, I can travel across the world. Just by being the being of light. And I can remind souls of the day that lies just ahead. Of the hope that light gives us, that the darkness will end soon. And in that costume of light, I come back into the physical dimension. But now, I keep this costume of light wrapped around myself, so that here in this world of darkness, others may see the light and be drawn to the source of light, the Supreme. And I can hold this costume of light with myself, even as I do all the things I need to do here.